in Maine, we're a centralized IT organization, so we already have a lot of that in place. But as I looked at, I was thinking about this question, I was thinking about not only that, but sort of the public-private partnerships we've been able to build over the years. And as you know, some of the problems facing states are really just so large and so grand in scope that we need help with these things. And we have a couple of things going on in Maine. Project Login, which is a consortium of private industry and the government and the universities to double the number of IT graduates in Maine over the next 4 years. We have Maine Cybersecurity Cluster, which is, again, the same type of organizations together saying, how can we work together to think about cybersecurity and those type of things? And then we have things that are, encouraged by the federal level. We're one of the states that has been awarded a grant through the Federal Tech Hire Grant, which is just so exciting for us because it's a way to speed up the process to get IT resources in the workforce. We're very, very excited about that. So while we do work very closely with our agencies, and we're all sort of one from an IT perspective, we look more and more on those public-private partnerships.
Well, I'll take a cue from Jim, but we have a number of them. The state's web portal is called Informe, and it's a public-private partnership, for example, and it's actually sort of a coalition of the counties and municipalities in the state of Maine, as well as the state itself. And we have a provider that puts up a website and a number of web applications. I think some 400 applications as it stands right now, and it's really been a huge benefit in terms of transparency as well as access to public services. Simply because it kind of takes it right to the public as opposed to making them come to us.
We've been on a 3 or 4 year journey to bring efficiency and to really modernize our operations. We've done it a couple of ways. One, we've added agile project management. We're about a couple of years into that journey right now. About 60 or 70% of our projects right now are through agile project management. We have about 80% of our project management workforce trained in that. And obviously we have to work with our agencies. There's training on both the business and the IT side. But we're really trying to get away from the risk part of it. We're trying to minimize the risk and get faster delivery. We do 3-week sprints now, so we're delivering something tangible every 3 weeks. And our business partners, that really is exciting for them. They see that kind of response right away. We're also doing stuff with business process management, which is really about workflow. And if you think about a state or any organization, it's really about data comes in, we do something with it, and information goes out. And so we say, how can we improve that process to get more efficient and better? As things build up over years, bureaucracy creeps into processes and stuff. And so we're trying to say there's a transparent way through software and through these disciplines to look at that now and find faster ways, more efficient ways to do things.
And as Jim said, though, the big thing about risk is unavoidable. And the biggest way we've kind of improved our operations is in terms of transparency. Part of that's agile, but part of it's just our mode of operations. Bring the customer in, show them the way the sausage is made, and then have them ride along with you as you go through the process. It makes a huge difference, in terms of being able to get projects delivered that make sense to them. And I know it sounds kind of pat and simplistic and stuff, but it's huge in terms of have them with you at the table as you go through it. And sometimes it's not beautiful, but we always get there together.
I think on the talent, I'll let Paul do the technical demand, but I think on the talent side, like every state, we're facing the baby boomer retirement. In Maine, it's 24% of our resources will be eligible to retire. It's already started, and they'll be eligible to retire in the next 2 years. And the back of the envelope kind of formula on that says about 3,000 years of experience will be walking out the door in the next 2 years. Now, that's transformational. You can't replace that just by snapping your fingers. We do a lot with interns. We bring a lot of interns in, but we're having to build other programs that's maybe delay people's retirement, or maybe they come back and do some more work. I mean, like most places, we have a lot of legacy systems. We have some of our systems that go back 40 years, and so it's not easy to bring an intern in. I may not even been alive when that language started. All of a sudden you say, yeah, I know. All of a sudden you're saying, well, how do we maintain these things? For someone who's been there 40 years and's had those late night calls where they've fixed something or they know how the inside of that process works. So it's a challenge. So I would say one of the biggest ones facing us is retaining and building that workforce.
Well, the segue on that is as he said, old systems. Teaching young people about old systems, teaching them dead languages, things like that. It's hard to get traction towards that end. The real cliff is it's not really so much the people leaving; it's the institutional knowledge. It's the talent that's leaving. I mean, these guys that work for us are amazing. They're really talented people, but as they leave, there's kind of as Jim alluded to, all those years of experience and nuance and everything else is walking out the door. And so it's irreplaceable. I mean, is probably the biggest driver towards modernization, is just to get something relevant to modern population.
Well, we think of information technology as serving three purposes. It's a three-legged stool. One, you got to keep the lights on. When people walk in, they expect to be able to log on. They expect to be able to get the internet. The second is projects. People want to, you move an organization forward by doing projects, right? That's your development. That's where you move forward and take advantage of new technology and new ways of doing things. And the third one is risk management, right? For us, risk management is cybersecurity and disaster recovery. And we've made progress in all of those areas, and we're starting to see some of the efficiencies, and Paul alluded to our third party with Informe and putting so many applications online. If somebody wants a licensing, a fishing license or something like that now they can do it on their mobile phone. They can do it on a mobile device. So all of a sudden we're more of that Amazon model where we're pushing out that capability to do it. So people don't necessarily have to drive to the capital of Maine to renew a fishing license or something like that. So we're trying to really understand who the end customer is and build processes for them.
Well, one thing is we are kind of, it's sort of a, I don't know, it's not inferred's the right word, but sort of secret. Basically, what's going on is as we modernize, we go towards COTS packages and things like that. And one thing that better serves us is that we have a long legacy of homegrown, and we've sort of inbred our idiosyncratic type ways of operating and so forth. And one thing a nice about COTS packages and things that are provided by third parties is that they sort of bring best practices to us, and that improves us because we're a little bit off the grid out where we are, and so sometimes bringing that stuff in sort of teaches a better way of accomplishing our goals.
I think where we really stand out, it's tough to say is it one area, is it another area. As I said, you keep the lights on and do the risk management stuff. Where we really think we can differentiate, where we'll really make progress, is both through agile for predictable delivery. I mean, we see too many government and private industry projects that may go on for years and add no value, and we're so conscious of that. We just want to make sure that never happens under our watch. So really with the agile methodology and with business process management, to us those are game changers. The industry has changed in the 40 years I've been doing this stuff. You always used to build these intensely vertical applications and not really think about the overall process. Well, now you have software and processes that can put a different focus on that and really add some value. So in my mind, I would really talk about the agile, and I'd talk about business process management.
The same answer, but one variation on it that makes Maine unique is that it is a can-do state. I mean, it's not the state motto or anything like that, but from my experience, I'm from one of the big square states out west, and one thing wonderful about it is when you have the business side, you have the customer side, we can solve any problem. It doesn't even matter partisan lines or anything like that. We can solve any problem because everybody is really intent on just serving the public. And I know it's not an IT answer, but it truly is. It's phenomenal to see. You can go to any legislative hearing. You can go to, it's all open access. So to me, that's the beautiful thing about the place.